Hey everybody, it's Shanice again. I am here finishing up, continuing my All That Shabaz cast shout outs. So we are going in order of how, who was cast first. So, you first, what's today? Is today Wednesday? I guess Monday I shouted out Nita Chambers, who plays Leah, our lead, our female lead. She is the ex-wife of Shabaz, current wife of Josh, and Shabaz comes to stay with them. So we shouted her out. I cast Leah before we did anything else. Cast Nita as Leah before we did anything else with the show. So, and then yesterday shouted out Gregory because it was his birthday, but he was not the next person cast. Actually, the next person cast after Nita was Meredith Scafidi. On Facebook, she is Meredith I Sparkle. Ooh, goodness, a bee. Sorry about that. I love being on my deck, but I cannot be around the bees. So, Meredith was the next person cast, and she was cast as Melody. Now, I need to explain to you about. I'm watching that bee. I need to explain to you about Meredith, because initially, when I wrote the script back in the day, there were only two sons, and there was a young. The thought was we were going to do a young daughter, like under 8, like 6 or 7, and she was going to be a young daughter, and she was actually going to be Shabaz's daughter. That's initially, how I wrote the script. The actual technical script only had 2 sons, and then when I was thinking about revising it, I was going to add a daughter and name her Melody for Miss Melody, may she rest in peace, from Boogie Down Productions. That was the reason I chose the name Melody, and I spell Melody the same way that Miss Melody spelled her name. So anyway, that was the thought. So then, you guys know we did Waiting Room, and so we had auditions for Waiting Room. And initially in the script for Waiting Room, one of the patients had children. And so for the casting call, we called out for children. We called out for 2 daughters and a son, I believe, is what we called for. However, because Waiting Room is about abortion for the most part, we as a team, the production team, Demetrius Thomas was part of that, and she's going to be working with me on Swing Shift. Yay! Yolanda Edwards was part of that team. Ronisha Strickland was part of that team. We kind of came together as a team, and we decided that we didn't want anyone younger than 16 on set because of the nature of the script. But we didn't decide that until after we had auditions. So anyway, we had auditions, and Meredith came, I think she submitted, her mom submitted for her, and so she came out to the audition. For the kids, since they didn't have lines, they were just going to be in a flashback, we printed out scripts from Disney scripts, and some scripts from their shows. And so, hi Lisa Michelle, hi Rhodey. We had scripts from Disney, and so we hadn't seen the scripts, and the kids hadn't seen the scripts. It was a cold read. My producer for Waiting Room just wanted cold reads, and so anyway, so when the kids came for auditions, they pulled the scripts. So we had quite a few kids come and audition, but I can't remember any of their names other than Meredith's, and that should tell you something. So kids came and auditioned. Meredith came. And we were set up at Mark Squared. Hey, Mark Squared. Hey, Carlotta. Hey, Dre. We were set up at Mark Squared, and so there was a partition. We were in the open space, and there was a partition where the kids could get their scripts and everything. So when it was time for the kids to audition, they had to come around and meet the panel. And the panel at that time, was Tiffany Roberts. Hey, Tiffany. Demetrius Thomas. Hey, Demetrius. Shakisha Dennis Williams. Me. Dewey was not there the first day. Yes, he was. Dewey was there. My stepdad was there, and my cousin Steve Moore was there. Hey, Steve. We were there. And so Meredith comes around, and I guess since this was 2014, she might have been 12, 11, or 10 or 11 or 12. And well, her birthday's in July, right? So, or is it August? She might have been 12. So, So she came in and she grabbed a script. So when she walked in, I think we might have seen one kid before her. And the kid before her, we read the script. We had somebody read the script with the girl, and the kid held her script and she read from it. She was cute and everything was wonderful. Well, when Meredith came back, she walked back and we see this gorgeous little girl with this beautiful curly hair, bright smile. She came back, she was extremely professional, and she walked up to us and we were like, hi, how are you? Do you have your script? Did you pick your script? She said, yeah. And it was the script where there were two people in the script, and, you know, boy and a girl, and she chose the girl. And so she went and she handed us the script. So Tiffany said, oh, no, sweetie, you can keep this. You can keep your script and we'll just read with you. And she turned around and she said, I don't need it. So we were just like, okay. She was like, I don't need the script. She wasn't nasty about it. She was just confident. And so we were like, okay. And so Tiffany's like, all right, Miss Missy, do your thing. So I think Tiffany read with her. Well, the script called for a kid to have dance fever. So I remember the script where the kid had to say, something's wrong. Oh, no, I don't know what it is. And her friend was like, what's wrong? And she's like, I have dance fever. So the script called for the kid to dance. Meredith was the only kid that came into that audition and danced. She was the only one that danced when she was supposed to. But anyway, she didn't need the script, and then she wowed us. She blew us away in the audition, and we were so loud that you know, the people on the other side could hear us, how excited we were. She was amazing. She blew us away in the script. And so when she was done, you know, I think we even clapped. We were so excited for her. And she just did great. She did better than most of the adults that auditioned that day. And so when she was going back, I don't know if it was me or if it was Tiffany, but one of us said, where's your mom? We need to meet your mom. And she went back around and she brought her mom up, and PJ came up, and her mom, PJ Scafidi, came up, and we told her how awesome she was. And she's like, oh, wow, thanks. And she was just amazing. And I don't know if at that time we told her that we had changed our mind. I don't think so. So anyway, we were like, she was great. Thanks for bringing her out. And they left. Well, when it was time to make decisions, I'm the type of director, writer, producer. I don't like to leave my actors hanging. So like if they audition, if they send a submission, I don't like to leave them hanging and they don't know if they made it or not or whatever. So, you know, I reached out to a lot of the actors. You know, some of them I didn't, you know, but I reached out to my actors. Well, I reached out to PJ Scafidi, Meredith's mom, and I said, hey, you know, I just got to tell you, she's amazing. Like, she is a star. And we decided to not have kids in the short film because of the nature of the content, but she's amazing. And so she's like, oh, thanks so much. You know, we don't get a lot of feedback a lot of times, you know, so thank you. And she was great. So that was in 2014. That was August 2014. I kept in touch with PJ, and I told her, I said, you know, when we do something else, you know, I'll think of Meredith, you know. And she's like, oh, okay, you know, no stress, no worries, you know, it's okay. Thank you. Just thank you for believing in her. Meredith is also a figure skater, and so I know that's really competitive, and it takes up a lot of her time. Meredith probably works harder than I do. With her figure skating and in her acting and in schooling and things like that. And she's just a magnificent kid. She was magnificent on set. She was amazing on set. Great energy. She did a great job. I think a couple of those film days she was waking up at 5 a.m. You know, I mean, it's just, she's just a blessing and just a bright star. Just, I was so glad that I got to work with her. So anyway, 2014, I kept in touch with PJ. She and I kept in touch. Well, you guys know that I quit after doing waiting room. I was just like, I'm done with this. And so PJ and I still kept in touch, and we were still friendly and everything. And I told her how I felt, and she's like, oh, don't worry about it. She's very encouraging. So when I decided to come back into it, and we were trying to decide, not a lot of people know this tidbit, when we were trying to decide what to shoot first, my husband wanted swing shift. I kept pushing for Shabaz. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I pushed for Shabaz only because I wanted to give Meredith a shot. I had been telling her that I was going to give her this shot, and I didn't want to let her down, and I didn't want, but we wanted to shoot swing shift first. He thinks that's the stronger story. And he's like, why do you want to do that? And I couldn't tell him that it was because just for this one actress. I couldn't tell him that, but I mean, he figured it out. But we shot Shabaz first, probably 85% because I wanted to work with Meredith. So So there we go. There we go. So that's what happened. And she came on and she played Melody. Now, mind you, I had written that part for a little girl, and the little girl was gonna be black. So, let me tell you how deep it is. I went back and rewrote her, as a teen, as a 13-year-old, 12 or 13-year-old. And at that point, you guys remember, if you've been sticking with me, you'll remember that initially Josh, the husband of the new husband, was black. And of course, he didn't show up to the table read, but Christian did, and we changed that to me and white. So understand this: Meredith is white. She's got curly hair, but she's white. And so we had to explain how she would be the child of two black parents, because Josh is new, so I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll get somebody Spanish to play, somebody Latin to play the wife. But we had a hard time finding that. And then we were like, okay, well, let's find somebody white. We had a hard time finding that. So I was like, forget it. Meredith is in this, so she's going to have to be adopted. So for the first, probably 3 to 4 months of developing this show, she was adopted. We had to switch up some of the lines, because when we found Christian, we figured she was able to look mulatto. Is mulatto, is that a PC term? I'm sorry if it's not. She could look biracial. So, because of her curly hair. So that's what we ended up doing. And, of course, we got Chelsea and Christian playing her parents. So it works out. So anyway, that is the story of Meredith as Melody in All That Shabaz. I'm excited. That's probably, out of all of my indie whatever I do stories, Meredith as Melody is probably my favorite story to tell. Because she's been around since 2014, and I'm just happy that she got to do this, and they were patient and everything, and I can't wait for you guys to see her. She's got some really funny lines, and she does great. She did a great job. I wish I could show you guys some of the stuff, but I cannot. It's not been edited yet. It's just in rough cut, and it's not fair to the editor to show it as it is right now. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can get a trailer done. I'm not sure. I can't make any promises because I don't know. So, but I'd love to show you. I know you guys have been hearing about it, and I'm gonna be honest with you. My marketing, quote unquote, marketing strategy. Again, all of my 2 years in this freaking business. My marketing strategy is to stay quiet until I have product. But my co-producer's marketing strategy is to keep everybody interested. So I went with his. And so we keep it. So I'm sorry. I would love to have something to show you guys, but hopefully we'll get it in the next few weeks, the next couple weeks. At least a trailer to show you guys what the foolishness that went on set. So that is the story of Meredith Scafidi. She's on Facebook as Meredith I Sparkle, as Melody Jenkins. That is how she came about. That's how that storyline came about, and it worked out wonderfully. And again, I'll end it with this. This week has been an interesting week, because you guys know I've been finalizing Sundance and stuff like that, and I'm figuring out what I want to do and how I want to do it, and who, and again, I say, for a person like me who's been looking for their purpose for a very long time and trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, I knew I was supposed to have my kids. I know that I'm supposed to be Gregory and Andre's mother. I know that for a fact. I do know that I'm supposed to be Dewey's wife. I know that for a fact. However, the outside fulfillment, I've always had outside fulfillment. I was kind of raised that way, and to be searching and searching and searching. I love law. No, don't get me wrong. But to be searching and searching and searching for something that makes my heart smile was tough. And then to know whether or not I was supposed to pursue it. And when you pray and you say, when you actually mean, God, I want your will to be done, or God, I just want to do what's in your will. When you actually mean that, and then you get there and you hit whatever that is that you want, because he gives us the desires that we have. My personal belief is that God gives us the desires of our heart, not he gives you what you want. The desires that you have were given to you by God. You were made with those desires, so some of them are natural, some of them aren't. So the natural ones, when you start pursuing those, I firmly believe that when it's in the will, stuff flows. It's not, you're not without trouble. You're not going to be without trouble, because you got to have some obstacles, and because the enemy does exist. However, as things flow and things work and things move, and it's almost at a really rapid pace. Sometimes you can't slow it down, so anyway, with Meredith and this whole thing flowing, and she stuck it out and she stayed. And then we got on set and we had problems on set. I had problems on set. I can't talk about it, I'm not allowed. But even with those issues, this show flowed. And even watching the rough cuts, I mean, it's not bad. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that in closing, that, you know, when you are working in your desires, the things that you're purposed to do, and then you kind of, and you surrender that, and you ask God to just give you, you know, like you want it to be in His will, then it just flows. It's just magic. And that's where my head has been lately for the past couple of weeks. So I'm just, I halfway feel like I'm floating on air a lot of the times. It's just very strange. Because for so long to be searching and then kind of finding it. So anyway, I wanted to end with that. So that is the story of Meredith Scafidi, Meredith I Sparkle on Facebook, as Melody. Can't wait for you guys to see the finished product. Thank you for hanging with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And I honestly don't know who was cast after Meredith. Who was it? I guess Gregory, but we already did him. I guess we'll be hitting up the table read. We'll start with the table read tomorrow. And so we've had some cast changes, so that'll be interesting. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good one. Love y'all.